Hello, everybody, and welcome into Calling the Game, an opportunity for a sports writer and historian to get together with a scientist and talk about all things sporting good. I'm Chris Lynch. That's not your actual name, but that was a good 7 seconds of screaming.
I was trying for Fernandez Contour like a minute and a half, but that might have been a little pretentious.
A little absurd, insane, but mild details, I suppose.
I'm Thomas Villalone Jr.
Okay, there we go. Now we've got the intro done, and we can talk about. Don't worry, we'll get to your Spurs in a moment.
Yes, we will.
We have got other things that are much more disappointing to talk about first.
I'm not sure you could be any worse than Harden last night.
I could be the Washington Capitals.
Fair. All right then.
Let's start off with that. Let's start off with discussing the horrid disappointment, and we'll do postmortems on the series that have ended. First,
yeah.
Let's get into the series we just discussed. There were 2 Game 7s on Wednesday night.
Yep.
One between Washington and Pittsburgh, and one between Anaheim and Edmonton. We will talk about both of them, but we're on the East Coast, and the Washington collapse is really the most disappointing one.
Shame. Just shame.
They lost in the second round of the playoffs. They've
been knocked out by the Pens, 9, 10?
They have played.
I've lost count.
They have played the Penguins 10 times in the postseason.
And have lost 9 of them.
Yep. That's pretty atrocious.
So basically, the formula for you next year, Washington, is forego everything and just make sure that someone eliminates Pittsburgh before they get to you.
Pretty much, yeah. They're not even going to... there are a ton of concerns on this whole deal as well for them. Simply, they won't be able to hold on to a lot of their team next year. A mix of salary cap concerns and that expansion draft with Vegas. I have issues with that, by the way. But Washington won't be able to keep that team together. This was their last chance to win it with that group of people before the league changes a bit on them. Yep. And before their team necessarily changes. And what makes it even more disappointing is simply they won 7-1 in Game 6 in Pittsburgh. Or, excuse me, no, they won 5-2. Where'd I get the 7-1 number from something else? But they won 5-2 and did it convincingly in Pittsburgh in just earlier on in that series. How did they possibly manage to botch that up?
They had the momentum.
They had it, but...
emphasis on the word had.
Yeah, it's quite disappointing. But, it's just unfortunate to be them. And, it turns out that when this guy by the name of Marc-Andre Fleury is dominant, just dominant, just outstanding the way that he's been performing as of late. So hot goalies will win you postseasons, and we were concerned about the Penguins coming into the playoffs for one reason. They were 17th in goals against.
Yeah.
The proverbial glass cannon.
Well, guess what? That glass cannon has a brick wall behind it.
Yeah.
Speaking of brick walls, we can go up for one quick minute.
Okay.
And the other Eastern Conference.
Your favorite player. Your 2 favorite players in the game.
King Heinrich has been dethroned.
Yeah. And it's been by a guy named Craig Anderson.
Yep.
How disappointed are you?
Crying a little on the inside.
Oh, I feel so bad. No, I don't.
No, you don't. Don't kid yourself, man.
Oh, trust me. I don't. But, minor details. Minor details.
So, just kind of bluntly put, the Senators may have quote-unquote no names on their team, but boy, do they make the Zerg Rush look tame.
They have one true superstar on that unit, a guy named Erik Karlsson.
Yep. Who
is a candidate for the Norris Trophy and probably should win the Norris Trophy for best defenseman this year. He is their best total package player. He is the face of that franchise, and he's got them in. This is a surprising run by Ottawa to the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
The question for them becomes, how long can they keep this going? And I'm not sure. I mean, Karlsson 13 points in the postseason so far, with 11 assists and 7 goals coming from their centerman John Gabriel Pago. And Anderson has played pretty well. I mean, the 914 save percentage isn't that great, but the 249 goals allowed average is pretty decent. You know, it's not a bad number at all, but
It's respectable.
yeah, it could be a bit better. Carlson is if they somehow by some stroke of miracle end up going all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, even if they lose, Carlson should get
win that.
he should get the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP.
Yep.
But you know, they've got to beat Pittsburgh first, and
that means beating
good luck.
Crosby.
Crosby played in the last game, right?
Yep.
Crosby
is actually kind of healthy.
Kind of, but concussions are an ongoing concern with him.
Yes.
I mean,
no one should have to deal with it, but unfortunately for him,
Yeah.
it is a reality.
Yeah. And he's this generation's Eric Lindros, except he has Stanley Cup rings to his name.
Yep.
So in that regard, anyway, Ovechkin would be if he actually had concussions. Thankfully, he doesn't. It's just he has the worst luck ever. So minor details with that, but I like the matchup. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think the contrast of the stars of Pittsburgh versus the no-names of Ottawa dragged by Carlson should be a fun time. But Pittsburgh is too much firepower. Pittsburgh is too good to lose to the Senators.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I want the horde that is becoming the Ottawa Senators to just overrun Pittsburgh, and I'll give them a fighting shot, but I just can't see that happening in my head.
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'll always give a team the shot to win in this postseason. I think you have to.
Well, no. After seeing the upsets that we have, yes, absolutely. I mean, Nashville blanked the Blackhawks.
Yes.
Blanked.
A clean sweep. Clean sweep.
And it just wasn't a clean sweep. Like, some of those games were beatdowns.
Oh, yeah. It's quite impressive to watch them get all the way there. And then they also fortunately knocked out the most aptly named team in the league, the Blues. Once again, St. Louis, I feel so bad for them. They've been to the Stanley Cup Finals twice in their first 2 years of existence. Coached by Scotty Bowman, backed by Glenn Hall, both in the Hall of Fame. And then they had to go play the Montreal Canadiens. You can guess how that would go.
Ouch.
And this is back when Montreal was,
The powerhouse.
the great Montreal Canadiens teams of the prior age. Well, of many prior ages gone by. They've not been a Stanley Cup team since Patrick Waugh was there. And then he rage quit and kind of cursed the team. Wait, no. Anywho. And don't worry, you've already gotten the disappointment of losing the Canadiens to pull for in this postseason.
Well, so if I'm going to put my ducks in a basket, give me the Predators.
Oh, come on.
I really want to see the Predators pull it off.
No. Put your ducks in a basket? You do realize who they're playing, right?
Yeah.
You did that pun very intentionally.
Maybe.
Good God, you're the worst. You're almost as bad as my father with puns.
I got some
Almost.
zingers.
Unfortunately.
Like slices of crappy cheese.
Jesus, help us all. Anywho, so let's talk about those series a little bit more. Let's talk
Western
about the West.
Conference.
Nashville. Good
Nashville
job.
actually, I'm not going to say they totally demolished.
They didn't
the
totally
Blues,
demolish
but
the
it was
Blues.
pretty handy still.
It was a 5-6 game series.
I think it was 5.
Yeah, it was a 5-game set. And the Blues barely dodged being killed off in game 3 or 4. They forced it back to Nashville.
So I think Anaheim has home advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think in their meetings over the last season, they split them based on if they were home or not.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, the momentum that Nashville has going forward versus the scrap that Anaheim had to go through with Edmonton,
Yeah.
there's something special going on with Nashville right now.
Can we take just a moment to deviate from that to give a post-mortem on the Oilers?
Bring out your dead.
They're not dead long term. This unit in Edmonton is a special unit that will be moving forward, and that will.
They're still evolving.
Yeah. Connor McDavid should win the Hart Trophy for MVP this year.
Oh yeah,
Just
his numbers are phenomenal.
that dude was incredible. Just the way he's handled himself.
The
here.
second he hits the ice, the opposing defense knows that they have to pin him.
Yeah.
It's
But
as simple as that.
But they need to learn how to win. And I mean, Gretzky and Messier and Yari Curry and Paul Coffey and Grant Furr, they had to do that for the earlier generation of the Oilers. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1983 and were the heavy favorites and got obliterated by the Islanders. Back when the Islanders
when the Islanders were the Islanders.
Well, no, back when they were a great team.
I know, 80 they swept 84 through 87, right?
No, 1980 until 1983 was their dynasty.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, just a little bit earlier, but yeah, they won 4 consecutive cups and beat the heavily favored Oilers in order to do it, or rather the flashy Oilers to do it. It's hard to learn how to win in this sport. I mean, any sport, but especially this one. They knocked out the aging veteran San Jose Sharks, and they had a 2-0 lead in this series. And this is after winning the first 2 games on the road, 5-3 and 2-1. And
then Anaheim cleaned them the rest of the way.
A 6-3 victory in Game 3 in Edmonton. That was a pretty convincing beating. And then back-to-back 4-3 overtime victories in Games 4 and 5, which were painfully close for both sides the whole way through. So they gave him a fight. And Edmonton had a 2-0 lead after the first period, and Anaheim exploded and won it in overtime.
They scored 3 goals in 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, they
on an empty net, no less.
That's Game 5 you're thinking of.
Was it Game 5? I thought it was 7.
No, Game 5 they did that in Anaheim.
Okay.
Edmonton got up. Edmonton scored 3 goals in the second period. Anaheim scored 3 in the third, and it took 2 overtimes before they finally got the goal to win the game. And Corey Perry and Ryan Getzlav can still make great plays. They don't have the backup of a Hall of Famer named Teemu Selanne anymore, but minor details. You know Teemu Selanne, right?
Vaguely.
The all-time leading scorer in the history of the Ducks, an easy first ballot Hall of Famer, Finnish player, great gentleman, nice guy. I'll pull up his career stats in a moment so I can tell you about how great he was. And Teemu is one word.
Oh, Teemu. He with Mussolini is what I got.
Teemu Selanne. As we continue to look through our bits of history, he broke in with the Winnipeg Jets and then played with the Ducks the rest of the way. Was alongside Paul Kariya when they went to the Cup Finals in 2009.
The Finnish Flash.
Yeah, before Paul Kariya got killed by Scott Stevens. Just got totally killed. But he'll have his number retired for them if he doesn't already.
Oh, yeah.
You see his stats, you see his numbers.
Jeez.
Played from 1989 to 2014. Dude played forever. And he was part of the unit that helped Anaheim win their first cup in 2007. Jeez. Aren't you happy that someone is helping to introduce you to the intricacies of hockey history?
Yeah, he also did rally racing, apparently.
Yeah, he had a full life. Those Finnish people know how to entertain themselves.
You ever heard of Mika Hakkinen?
I've heard of him. I don't know a lot about him.
It was him or Kimi Räikkönen. They asked him, well, y'all are really good at car driving. How do you get that good? He goes, well, during the summer, we have car driving, we have the outdoors, and we have alcohol. Okay, and during the winter, not so much the outdoors.
We have hockey.
No, That wasn't even on his list.
I mean, some people in Finland have hockey.
Anyways,
Anyway, so congratulations to
Anaheim.
for doing good work and for making it to the conference finals. What do we think of the upcoming series?
Pittsburgh. I'm gonna call Pittsburgh in 6.
Back east.
And the Predators in it's gonna be 6.
You think so? You think there'll be momentum from Nashville's performance?
They're playing on an unbelievable level right now.
And Pekka Rinne is, brick wall.
He has engaged the full stop mode.
God bless Pekka Rinne. Also a great name. Just a great name. So congratulations to everyone who's moved on. Those who have failed.
Better luck next time. Game 1, I believe, is tonight.
Game one of the Western Conference Finals is tonight. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals will be tomorrow.
Yep, I think so.
Okay, so we'll be paying attention to those and might be watching. Should be a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yay,
In
hockey.
the meanwhile, we go back to the N of the B of the A.
Hooray, basketball. Have we finally gotten some competitive playoff games?
Yes.
Have they been worth it? Have they been worth the wait?
Have I been shouting at the top of my lungs at the end of them? Yes.
Yeah. Did you see what Isaiah Thomas has done in that
Yes.
series so far?
Mm-hmm.
And how he is the playoff MVP to this point?
Yep. Now, the thing is, can they go all the way? Because I have a sneaking suspicion that Boston's going to win tonight. If they do, they've got to take on the Cavs for multiple games. Now,
Yeah.
Boston has shown that the Cavs are weak. The thing is, can they keep it up the entire way? And if so, that Western Conference fight against I can see the Cavs going up against a Western Conference team. I just don't see Boston being able to.
Let me point out one thing that you might have forgotten.
Mhm.
The last 2 years, the Celtics have gone to Oracle Arena twice and have won both games.
Yep.
In Oakland. Admittedly, this was when Kevin Durant was not with them. This season's game, Kevin Durant was not on the floor, and Golden State looked simply atrocious.
Mhm.
And last year, that game between the two teams is the one that's the most telling, because this was Golden State at the height of their powers, and this was Golden State in their record-setting regular season.
Mhm.
So I would argue ultimately that it was the best played. It really was the best played game.
So what I'm really hoping for, this is just me right now speaking, Spurs Celtics in the finals.
You want to go see the Spurs in the finals?
I will pay top dollar, and you and me are going to be in this seat, possibly double what we normally are, just ragging on each other.
Oh, that
and
would
this
be.
and it will be glorious.
It will be glorious. Trust me, it will be. However, let us put aside our fanboying. For
Yes,
a moment.
yes. For the moment,
For
okay.
a moment, let us breathe.
Celtics, Wizards. I think the Celtics are going to cap it tonight.
You think so?
So here's the thing: when IT is hot,
There's no stopping.
there's no stopping them.
But here's the thing: last 2 nights ago, when they played in Boston for Game 5, Isaiah scored 18 points, and the Celtics blew out the Wizards.
But did you see the rest of his stat line though?
Avery Bradley did a phenomenal job in that game, leading the way, and Al Horford looked like a max quality player.
Yep.
So the rest of his team,
They're picking. I mean, it's becoming team based play. You have this star, but around him you have the horde.
yeah, I know you're a big fan of at least of the imagery, and I know you're a big fan of that unit. And John Wall has looked good for big stretches of the series, but
He's not consistent though.
Also, have you seen what the rest of the unit is doing for them?
I mean,
I'm taking a look at their field goal percentage for the series. Boston is shooting at 52.9% from the field. Washington is shooting 38.5%. Boy, lordy. The 3-point percentage is even worse. Boston is shooting at 48.5% from 3. Washington is shooting 24.1%. Or that was the game 6 numbers. That's pretty atrocious.
Well, okay, so here's the thing though. The bookies have the Wizards winning this game as 5.5 favorites.
Reason why is because Boston hasn't shown that they can actually win in Washington.
Exactly. I think that's going to change tonight though.
You think so?
I think so. If Boston wins this game tonight, it takes a load off their shoulder and they can go straight to facing the Cavs, who they know they can beat.
At home, by the way.
Yes.
Well, remember the last time that Cleveland and Boston faced off, I remember this. I was in Chicago, and I turned the TV on in my hotel room after I had been at the United Center all day, and I watched the Cavaliers obliterate the Celtics. I mean, just LeBron single-handedly destroyed them that night for 36 points, and it was a 20 to 30-point victory for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no doubt that the Celtics believe in their heart of hearts that they could win that series. They just need to prove it, and they need to show it.
Yeah. I mean, show up with your game face, do your job.
But, well, job number 1, beat Washington tonight.
Yeah.
And you think they will. I am not 100% certain, to be honest.
Do you think it's going to go 7?
I don't know. I will hedge my bets and say that I think, based off of what I've seen in this postseason, I think that that Washington will win tonight. I want the Celtics to win, but I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
And I hope that no one takes me as being disingenuous by hedging my bets, but I really don't know what to think of it.
So here's the thing. If Boston's front court shows up, I think it's game over.
Yeah. Horford has to play a great game.
Because I'm looking at the last loss that the Wizards had. Gortat was non-existent. Markieff Morris, non-existent. Otto Porter Jr.
Where the hell has he been?
He had a better game than Morris and Gortat combined.
And he still had a pretty bad game.
So
13 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, and only 4 boards.
So apply pressure
Yeah.
and just watch everything unfold.
And actually rebound. I mean, the Celtics finally won a rebounding battle, only 48-45, but they still won the rebounding battle.
The assists were higher. The turnovers were less. The steals were better. The blocks were better. They played very aggressively. 25 personal fouls. Personally, that's a little high for me, but
yeah,
if it works, it works.
You know, that shooting percentage, though, let's see, 52% from the field compared to Washington's 38%. That shooting percentage is kind of incredible. So I like this setup. I think Washington will win tonight, but I want the Celtics to end the series so we can get on to the conference finals.
Fair.
All right, let's go west. I mean, we're gonna skip over. We haven't gotten to talk about how disappointing the Raptors are, but we'll simply note Toronto. Where were you people?
Get your act together.
You caved to LeBron James. He's not God. He's a human being.
Mm-hmm.
He might be the best basketball player on the planet, but he is a human being and he can be beat.
You can stop him.
Act like you want to beat him. I know Isaiah wants to and believes that that unit can win. I know he believes that.
He will will that unit to victory if he has to.
Yeah. In the same way that Manu Ginobili willed his Spurs to victories in the West.
We'll talk about that in a second. First, before we get to that, Golden State versus... Doesn't matter.
No. I was so disappointed the way the Jazz performed. I was so disappointed.
The Jazz got swept.
Yep.
Jazz got swept. I remember game 3, I was holding out. It's like, come on, Utah, come on.
Just make it close. Nope. I mean, is the West overrated?
No. I genuinely don't think so.
I'm not sure. And my reasoning for thinking that is top units in the West across the board are better than the top units in the East. Sure. But the depth of that unit I think Houston is a run and gun team that showed that they have problems, that they would be in for real competition in the Eastern Conference as well.
Okay, so for a quick comparison, I'm doing this from 2000.
Mhm.
The winners are Lakers,
Yep.
Spurs,
Pistons,
Spurs, Heat, Spurs, Celtics,
Celtics,
Lakers, Mavericks, Heat,
Spurs, Warriors, Cavs. Yeah, the West has dominated
The
in
West
recent
has
years.
dominated within the past 17 years.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath out in the Western Conference.
Yeah. Generally speaking, you can say with a high degree of certainty, unless the East is a super team, a la wherever LeBron is, because looking at these, with the exception of when pre-2008, when the Celtics won their last championship,
The Pistons were
the Pistons and the Heat, sans that, LeBron has 3 rings, and he's been with all of those teams.
yeah.
And he's lost 2 finals as well. 3 finals.
07, wait, 2007.
Okay. Actually, I know. I forgot that.
11, 2000, and
14?
14 and 2015. That's 4 finals losses. But we won't count the 07 finals loss against him because
he was just him.
He dragged the corpse of the Cavaliers. Granted, do you think the Pistons would have given the Spurs a real fight that year? Chris Webber was their center. It was the same backcourt of Billups and Hamilton.
I think they would have given a better fight.
It would have been not a sweep.
It wouldn't have been a sweep, but the Spurs still would have come out on top on that one.
Flip Saunders would have given him would have given some real problems to Pop as the coach.
Probably.
Like, Saunders was a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
One gifted with always the best teams or the best personnel, but for when he was in Detroit, he had everything he needed. So yeah, it should be an interesting time ultimately for the next round of the postseason. But what are we discussing next? So the Warriors.
So the Warriors kind of took out the Jazz. There was little to no.
You think Gordon Hayward will stay with them?
I hope he does.
I hope so too.
I think him and Rudy Gobert, they are the nucleus for a good squad.
Those two were, and Gobert was injured for
Yes.
parts of this postseason, so he wasn't at the Stifle Tower was not in full effect.
I wish the best to Utah. You are scary.
Yeah.
You are scary in the Western Conference. And for me as a Spurs fan to say it, like, I do not look forward to playing Utah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You haven't in a long while.
I used to hate when Malone and Stockton came to San Antonio because it's like, crap, here we go.
Yeah.
But now it's Gobert and Haywood.
That's pretty good.
That's something right there.
That's pretty good.
So
yeah.
I think we can leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then the heart attack.
Say it again. You know the word. 3, 2, 1.
Ginobili.
Yep. The old man, the last of that age of the Spurs, with Parker being done for.
With Parker out for the season, Ginobili is the last man standing.
Is Parker going to come back next season?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah. Parker's going to leave when he's finally like, okay, whatever. I guarantee you, Parker might even be willing to come off the bench for a season or two if he's got a good enough backup.
Probably.
And you know what? He just wants rings at this point.
Yeah. As many championships as possible.
I think he's only got to be Rick Fox for the most ever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what, 7?
Wait, what? No, Robert Horry has 7 since.
Sorry, Robert Horry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for any individual player not with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any player not with the Celtics, because Russell has 11, Sam Jones has 10.
Jeez.
You know, they dominated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
They were
right here. I'm looking at it.
But
yeah, no. I think Parker will stay just as long as he can keep getting more hardware.
Yeah. That's about accurate, I think.
Now, The series, though, this was the first real test. Not to say that Memphis wasn't.
Memphis was a real
Memphis
test.
was a test. That is defense. And then you go 180 degrees the other way. Half the defense, double the offense.
Take that for data.
And yeah, it turns out game 6, half the defense, none of the offense. That was bad.
Yeah, James Harden looked atrocious. By the way, semi-random thought. I will buy you a "Take That for Data" shirt with the glasses on the front of it as well.
Is it already on sale?
Oh yeah,
I will take that.
I will buy
wear
that. I mean, yeah, you're of course wearing your 2007 San Antonio Spurs shirt, your championship team.
Jonathan Simmons. I just want to mention him real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dude who I remember when he first showed up on the radar because I followed the Austin Spurs a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This guy tried out.
They're the D League team.
Yeah, the D League affiliate, and
Okay.
he showed up, gave him a tryout. He paid $150 for it,
Wow.
and now, dude started against Houston,
That's awesome.
and 18 points. He made Harden's life a living nightmare.
Yeah.
You're doing good. You're doing real good. You're probably going to see a lot of time against Golden State.
Side note, what do we expect out of Kawhi for that series? Because he did not play in the last game against Houston.
Kawhi.
Do we think he'll go? I mean, he'll have a moment to rest up.
He might be, admittedly, he might be slightly hobbled, but in the Popovichian scheme that is the Spurs,
Mhm.
he has a plan.
Yeah.
And this is gonna sound really cliched, but at this point, like I keep reading this over and over and over, and as a Spurs fan, because I'm a fan, I guess I have the rose-tinted glasses that prevent me from seeing this, but it's like, never discount us. I've never discounted us.
Yeah. Anyone who discounts the Spurs
It's-
doesn't know basketball.
At this point, the three constants in life are death, taxes, and the Spurs making an NBA playoff run.
Yeah, they're
It's-
doing exactly that.
And yes, we have blown it before, Memphis, Mavericks. But at the same time, though, if the team has good momentum, they're scary.
My hope is that this isn't the 2008 Spurs who survived battles with New Orleans and Chris Paul, only to lose in 5 games to the steamrolling Lakers.
Yep.
My hope for them is that it doesn't turn into, well, that. But I want to just point out LaMarcus Aldridge with 34 and 12.
LaMarcus Aldridge, I think, is ready to pop out of his shell because this series that's coming up,
He's going to be huge.
this
He's going to
is
have to be.
his series. He is the tallest man on the court.
I mean, he's got to dominate in order for the Spurs to win. Kawhi has to play outstanding defense on just one of those guns that that Golden State has. Even if he just holds Kevin Durant to 15 or 20 points.
That's all you need to do, though.
It's
All-
a hard task to do.
We need to repeat the opening game of the season.
Yeah, and you need to do that 4 times at a minimum.
And you know what? I think Popovich can do that.
I think he can.
I'm not going to call a sweep. I'm not as much as I'd like to call a sweep. I don't see that happening.
Hell no. That's not going to be a sweep. That will be a great series.
If it's a sweep,
Pop
It-
is the greatest coach of all time.
if this ends up being sweep
Let's.
and the Spurs
It
wipe the
won't
floor,
be. So
it
it will not be a sweep.
part of me is still screaming yes, yes, yes. The other part of me is like, just calm down, dude, calm down.
Yeah, it
Um,
won't be a sweep. It will be a great series. Golden State
I
is
see
too
this.
talented.
I see this going 6 or 7 easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this will be the series we have wanted to
But
see.
here's the thing, though. None of these victories are going to be close. They're all going to be blowout wins. Either the
One way or the other, yeah.
either the Spurs are going to have the Warriors dialed, or the Warriors are going to have the Spurs dialed.
Until the final game,
Yeah, and then that one's going to just be a scrap.
and it
It's-
will be
it-
glorious.
Like the game 5 against Houston, I think it's going to be something similar.
Golden State is under attack, and it is glorious.
All I want to see, this is a personal sentiment,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a repeat of game 3, that first half of the NBA Finals in 2014.
You do realize you might never get that again. What you saw that game was
Oh,
Immaculate.
It was the perfect. It is arguably the best half of basketball ever played.
It was.
Period.
It was the best stretch of basketball that any team has ever put together. And to do it on that kind of stage is nothing short of amazing. So I think you can be. I understand all of your excitement for the Spurs right
Yeah.
now. I joined in on it as well. They are a great team, and they're playing amazing basketball right
Against
now.
the Warriors, though.
Yeah, they'll be in for a real test. They will be in for a real test, but Golden State will be in for a major test as well.
I will say this: whoever wins this matchup is going to win the championship. I firmly believe that.
I could see that. I won't write off either Cleveland or Boston.
I can't do that necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but these two teams are playing on another level.
Pop is coaching on another level, and the team is executing on an amazing level for San Antonio.
Fair enough. The same thing with the Warriors.
The talent for Golden State is amazing.
Oh.
The talent level. But
well, once you get to their bench, that's the problem.
Yeah, I will absolutely take great coaching over great talent. And on a personal level, I want to see the Spurs win.
Mm-hmm.
I want desperately to see the San Antonio Spurs win. I am not sure what we'll get out of it. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals will be on Sunday at 3:30.
Yep.
I will be watching that series.
Oh yeah.
I hope they give us a nice Mother's Day present of good basketball.
I don't doubt that in the least bit.
Oh, we'll get a good series. And then in the East, do we think that Boston will win the series?
I think Boston's going to finish up tonight, and then Boston's going to start hammering against Cleveland. I think Boston can beat Cleveland.
I think they can. I need to see them do it though. After that last series, that last game against Cleveland at home in April, when they got annihilated, I need to see them rebound from that. And again, I think the two best coaches operating in basketball right now are Popovich and Brad Stevens, because they understand their units completely and they understand how to beat their opponents.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And am I the only one who thinks that beyond LeBron, Kyrie, and Love, that Cleveland is a horribly overrated team?
They have no bench.
Yeah, they don't have any depth.
Okay, they have name players, but the names aren't showing up.
Darren Williams is old. Kyle Korver, it can still put up some good numbers, but he's not that great. Amon Shumpert is okay. J.R. Smith is okay.
But again, I would rather have Brad Stevens at the helm with the no names.
Yeah.
And still just out general.
And I would also rather have the prophet preach of winning in championships called Isaiah. And I think the Celtics, Lakers, and Spurs are the only organizations that can claim anything like Celtic pride. I mean, Celtic pride is unique to the Boston Celtics, but you know what I mean when I say the organization instills in its players who buy into it a sense of we fully believe in and expect championships out of ourselves.
I agree with that, except with Los Angeles as of late. They're having a lot of internal turmoil.
You know, we don't talk about the Lakers that much, except to make fun of them and ridicule them, but they will get back to Laker tradition at some point. Just give it time. They'll get back to it.
Yeah, we're going to be in the doldrums for a good 10 years, I suspect.
Give it time. I mean, I'd be okay with it. I'm quite rooting for the Lakers to be awful, but you know,
until
details.
Then.
Yeah, what he did. But Celtic pride cannot be understated, especially when the players have bought into it.
Yep.
Isaiah believes in it. Al Horford believes in it. Avery Bradley, all these guys, and anybody who is a basketball person and doesn't get what Celtic pride is, trust me, you will understand when you see the Celtics battle and battle and battle. And also, there's a big part of me that wants to see the Celtics and the Spurs meet in the finals for one big reason. I want the arrogant sports media that believes that they have scripted all of this up. That they know. They know. We all know exactly what we're going to have happen. I said this about Duluth and Denver, too, for the NCAA championship game, that those two teams, that Denver was going to completely dominate the Bulldogs. I said, no, it'll be a great close game. Denver will win ultimately, but Duluth stands a great chance.
It's not going to be a one-sided affair.
Yeah. There's no reason to do all this to do all this scrapping and searching for this. We already know what's gonna end up happening. Oh, little sports fans who don't know what we do, since we're in it in the long term.
FYI, if we ever claim to know anything, feel free to punch us.
Oh yeah, we if we claim to,
I think our track record is slightly overstated. We're actually pretty bad.
Kind of under. I mean, I picked the Oilers to win against the Ducks, but minor details.
I think I picked the Ducks actually.
You picked the Ducks.
Yeah, We split that series.
Well, I picked the Sharks to lose to the Oilers,
and in that you were correct. In that, yeah. So I picked the Sharks to win. So yeah, if you take the average between us, we still suck.
Yeah, we're worse than the Capitals. Actually, no, we're not. Actually, no, we're not.
Let's put it this way. We're somewhere in between the Browns and the Capitals.
That is we're not the Browns. We're not wrong.
I don't think anyone can be the Browns besides the Browns.
It's I just feel awful for Cleveland. I mean, they didn't have a terrible draft for the first time in ever.
No, they actually
think
pretty competently. We hope.
We hope for their sake, just on the Cleveland scale, that we hope that they get off of it.
Here's everyone's draft picks compared to the normal standards. Cleveland, you walked out looking like a superstar. Who'd you get? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as they're not total failures, we're okay with it.
As long as they don't get staph infections. And as long as they're not Johnny Football.
FYI, go watch a YouTube channel.
Urinating Tree.
Dude's got chops on
It's
him.
brilliant.
Dude's got
It's
chops.
brilliant. And he's gaining in subscriber totals, which he absolutely deserves. He's up to 25, 26, 26K?
28.
28K. He's doing well for himself.
Congratulations! You failed.
I've been thinking of doing not exactly his style of
but
videos,
something similar.
I've been thinking of doing scripted videos for it. So
I'm fine with
keeping this podcast as its own separate thing. But I think ours would be sort of story recountants.
Oh, I'd be fine with that.
Do we want to see if we can get into that over the summertime?
Oh, definitely.
All right. Then we will look into doing that.
Let the lol cows begin.
We will give him credit for that term, but
lol cow. That's
a genius.
That's
term.
the modern era definition of portmanteau.
Yeah, and you saw his video on Espen, right?
You mean the husk formerly known as Espen?
Way to go, the six. All right, so just a recount on everything for the NBA.
Golden State versus Spurs. I see the Spurs winning. It's
Mhm.
going to be tough.
Yeah,
It's going to go 6 or 7. Easy.
I see it as a 7-game series. Only reason I think the Warriors would win is home court advantage, and the top level talent is outstanding, especially with Tony Parker injured, who still has enough quickness to give Steph Curry some problems.
That's fair.
But without him there, I see that they're going to run into some issues.
And this is barring any major injuries to the
Of
Warriors.
course.
Yeah, because we've seen how quickly that can change.
Yeah. I mean,
Mr. Griffin, you're gone. Mr. Gobert, you're gone. Parker, gone. Nene, what's left?
Durant and sort of Kawhi,
If Durant or Curry goes down,
they're done.
that's it.
Yeah, they're going to lose that series.
Or actually, Draymond.
Draymond is actually the most important player for that unit. He's not the best, but he's the most important.
I would argue so.
I would have made the same argument for the Bulls in the late 90s with Dennis Rodman.
No rebounding capability. No major rebounding capability besides him.
I mean, Jordan could do a decent job with rebounding. Pippen could do a decent job with rebounding, but that wasn't their calling card.
Yeah.
George Karl, after that series, he was the coach of the Sonics. after that series, he was on the podium for his post-game press conference after Game 6. And he said, I don't know who won the MVP, but Dennis Rodman won them 2 basketball games with his rebounding alone. So I think Golden State in 7. You think Spurs in 6 or 7.
If the Spurs can out-rebound Golden State and keep up a defense the way they have,
yeah,
that's the key to victory right there.
I agree. Then let's go back to the East. I think the Celtics will. We both think the Celtics will win their series against Washington. I think it will be in 7. You think it will be in
Tonight.
6. And we'll be watching that at 8 p.m. tonight on ESPN. And then the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's not make predictions until that series is actually underway, because
that's fair. That's fair.
Washington could still win and could still go, in which case we would have to we would look like major asshats and would have to recalibrate everything. There's your hat.
I will eat said hat.
But it probably doesn't taste good.
I didn't say it would.
All right, fair enough. All right, so let's get on to some baseball talk.
We got 10 minutes left.
Okay, let's quickly do you want to quickly talk about boxing?
Yeah, let's talk boxing and then finish for today because I got to get going.
Okay, let's do that.
So quick heads up. So Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko, that was a good fight.
I think had Klitschko survived the final round that it went, I think he could have pulled something off, but
perhaps. So here's the thing with heavyweights, it's a 1-punch differential. All it takes is 1 at their weight class.
Yeah.
And the issue is that Joshua got more hits in, got better hits in. Klitschko made him earn it though. Both of them, I think, were bleeding by the end of the fight. And then Joshua just landed a combination that was just too much. Klitschko, I believe, has a rematch clause.
Yeah, I've got a story from the Daily Star here, which is a paper in the UK. Here's the headline. Anthony Joshua v. Vladimir Klitschko rematch in caps. Fight could be made in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Anthony Joshua will find out in 2 weeks if he is set for a blockbuster heavyweight bout. I'll read through this and try to process it all.
Yeah, so make a long story short, Joshua won. Great fight. It's a little bit slower. It's a little more tactical than what people tend to like, but it was a very good fight nonetheless. And funny enough, one of the commentators was Deontay Wilder, who is the WBC belt holder. And I believe he has formally challenged Joseph Parker from New Zealand to unify those 2 belts. So now, potentially end of this year, beginning of next year, we're going to have a unified heavyweight champion with all the belts.
That's exciting. So I'll read a little bit of the story. Promoter Eddie Hearn is working on the potential Joshua Klitschko fight. Heavyweight champion Joshua is also set to retain the IBF belt if he faces the Ukrainian again, despite fears he could be stripped. But should Klitschko retire, then Joshua would face mandatory challenger Kubrat Pulev, most likely at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff this autumn. Klitschko, 41, is currently on holiday with his family and will decide his next move when he returns. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, long story short, Klitschko is on vacation.
Klitschko's on vacation, but the other thing is, the thing that people were concerned with, he looked good.
Yeah.
He was, for 41, dude was on his feet, and dude kept the pressure on Joshua. He made Joshua look stiff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a slower and more tactical fight between the 2 of them. I mean, the first 2 rounds were just feeling each other out.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would be excited for a rematch because you might not have to have the feel-out rounds, or maybe only round 1 is that.
Yeah.
Because then you could get into the real meat of the fight after that.
But Klitschko was dancing around Joshua, which was astonishing to see compared to see the way he fought against Fury. Now, quick side note, though, the other big one was Chavez versus Canelo. Bit of a disappointment. Chavez Jr. looked completely outclassed.
Canelo's pretty good.
Canelo had a 3-inch detriment in reach, and he made Chavez pay. It was a clean sweep. Unanimous decision, 10 versus 9, every single round.
That's pretty not bad.
That's humiliating.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Now, what everyone was hoping for
is finally happening.
GGG versus Alvarez is being scheduled for sometime in September. Now we're going to have the most aggressive dude in the world, arguably, GGG.
Triple G.
Against one of the most tactical boxers in the world.
Oh
Now,
boy, this is gonna be fun.
it's a super fight. I suspect there's going to be another Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather, which people hate it because you're not seeing two dudes slug it out. For me, I'm doing cartwheels in my own brain.
Because you're getting precision, tact,
Exactly.
intelligent play, all that stuff.
And yeah, so make a long story short, those two setups are looking really, really good right now. I wish the best Chavez Jr. going forward. You had an advantage and you blew it, dude. And you had the weight, you had the reach, you didn't have the aggression or the tact. So we'll see where that goes. In the meanwhile, Alvarez, you had my respect, and you earned it all over again in that fight.
Good job, y'all. Good job.
Okay.
Well,
MLB real quick.
What up?
MLB real quick.
Yeah, we'll make it very quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Because we don't have a lot of time before you have to dive back into more work stuff. Yay.
Yay.
Very quick, like Derek Jeter is having his number retired this Sunday, which has allowed people to rightly honor the. I'm trying to think how to define him, because I don't think he's the most talented player, the most decorated player in terms of rings of his generation, and the most respected player of his generation.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
Okay. So MLB.com, Joe Posnanski did an article on his list of the most likely next list of numbers to get retired by the teams, and Cardinals will easily retire Albert Pujols next. Number 5, Dodgers 22 for Kershaw, Giants 28. Wow, really? The Cleveland Indians have not yet retired Jim Thome's 25.
Wow.
You remember Jim
Yes,
Thome?
I love Jim Thome.
The great Jim Thome. He'll be an easy first ballot Hall of Fame induction.
Definitely.
Dustin Pedroia's number 15 will be the next one for the Red Sox. They've already announced David Ortiz's retirement day. I am looking desperately to get tickets to that game. I scrapped my way into Pedro's retirement game.
You did it.
So, I will happily go. And the Yankees already listing Aaron Judge's 99. Let him play beyond his rookie year, guys. Let him win a couple World Series with you. Except don't. Ever. Don't win a World Series, Aaron. I love you dearly, Aaron Judge.
The conflict is
I know
real
you.
right now.
It is. I love Aaron Judge. He's a great guy. He's a great player. But he plays for the embodiment of sin. I mean, the Yankees. No, he plays for the embodiment of sin. I hate the Yankees so much, but I love Aaron Judge just as much. It hurts me so much.
In the meanwhile, very briefly, Baltimore Orioles are at the top of the East. The Twins are at the top of the Central.
Hold up. The Twins, the 17 and 14 Twins are alongside Cleveland.
They split with the Indians.
Well, yeah, they're ahead by mere percentage points, but in different number of games. But the Twins were supposed to be in the cellar this year.
Meanwhile, if you go to the West, the Astros on the top, and everyone else is in the cellar.
Way to go, Astros. I had a feeling that Houston could be good, even though I picked Texas to win that division. Tells you how much I know about the sport.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are a middling team right now. They're not healthy. They're not healthy, especially in the rotation. So I'm willing to give that a little bit of a breather.
Meanwhile, the National League,
the Nats are killing it.
Nationals, this is your shot. Go win it.
Yeah. Good luck, gentlemen.
The Braves are rebuilding.
Oh, look at that. The Cardinals. I heard a great description from our friend Urinating Tree. The Pittsburgh Steelers of baseball, where everything can be in total disarray, and then they use voodoo magic to summon tremendous baseball playing potential from people formerly considered scrubs.
Yep.
Should Chicago be concerned? They're at 17 and 17, fourth place in the division.
They'll be fine, I suspect.
They're on a World Series hangover right now.
Yep.
They'll get themselves together.
The Pirates, welcome back to the cellar, baby.
They kind of missed you there in the lonely bottom of the sports world.
And in the West, the world has turned upside down.
Okay, the Dodgers are starting to right the ship again.
Yes, but the Rockies are still on top.
How?
And then the thing that caught my eye was, we've lost your bags. We've lost your bags. San Francisco is lost.
Their run differential in San Francisco is a -69.
Which is the worst in the league.
By far, I think the next worst is
The Padres.
at -61.
And no one's even close.
The best run differential in the National League is the
Dodgers.
no,
Oh,
plus
sorry,
51.
Nats.
But it's neck and neck right now for them.
Yeah.
The best run differential in the American League is the Yankees. That they've scored 182 runs. 182. I think that's the most in baseball. Nope,
Yep.
second most.
Is it? Oh, wow.
209 by Washington.
Nats.
Well, Washington had a game in which they scored 20 runs. That'll help. That'll balloon the numbers a little bit.
Yep.
But so the West, Colorado, has that weed been affecting you? Must have been.
Something's in that air.
Weed, lots of it. I hate the smell of it, but if it helps you win baseball games, I guess it's okay. I guess. Don't do drugs, kids. This is not an endorsement of drugs.
Tell that's Maradona and cocaine.
I wasn't planning on that.
Or Daryl Strawberry and cocaine.
He only won one World Series. He should have won a lot more.
Yeah.
Minor details though. Anywho, so
I think it's a good wrap up for us.
yeah, I agree.
So, signing off, Thomas Villon.
I'm Chris Lynch. Y'all have a good day.
Take care.